Go. Good afternoon, everybody. We're here for an impromptu taboo discussion. I am Nikki K the Great, and you are.
Well,
And we are going to be having a conversation on the Zoroastrian something or others and many other things. So, let's go. Okay,
well, go
so
ahead.
let's talk about these Zoroastrian people.
The Zoroastrian people at one time occupied most of what we call Iran now, chunks of Iraq, and all the way up to Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan, uh, which is to the west of India. Uh, they are probably one of the oldest religions in the world, uh, definitely going back about 6 or 8,000 BC. And they had was called fire temple worship. There's a really good book out there about them. They're very, very, very isolated people, and a guy that wanted to study them in the late 1950s spent, I believe, it was 15 years digging ditches and doing that kind of manual labor beside them. They finally invited him into a fire temple. They did the animal sacrifice the same way the Jews did, burning it. And but the man's name was M.A. Zochner, and he wrote a book about the Zoroastrians called Teachings of the Magi. It's out of print now, and you can buy the book on eBay, but it's like $120. So that's pretty expensive to buy a book. But and my copy is upstairs, which I bought in '83 for one of my classes on uh, religious studies. Um, they talked about the good earth, uh, natural flow of things. They're very, very similar to Taoism in terms of their interpretation. Uh, they are the only group of people in the Middle East that like dogs. Uh, Muslims absolutely hate dogs. They consider them unclean and they will torture and kill them on a regular basis. Not a biggie for them. Uh, but we'll see. What else can I tell you about them? Trying to remember the pantheon they had. Hang on a second. Let me. Zarathustra was their god. Uh, you've heard the thing in the 2001 "Thus Spake Zarathustra." Da, 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 da. That was a musical rendition of an epic they wrote that was published in, I think, 1964 by May Zochner. Zarathustra was their god, or their Jehovah, their, Oh,
Um,
what?
is there any god that doesn't have a left arm?
I don't know of any that are missing one. Um, To be quite honest with you.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm getting one of my references on because it's been a while since I've.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, did you find it? If you didn't find it, that's fine. We can talk about the thing that's on your hat.
Oh, that's Sigillum Mildum ex Pisti. That's the uh, uh, motto of uh, the Knights Templar.
Yeah, them. If you can't find the thing on the Zoroastrians, let's talk about them.
Trying to remember Zoroaster or Zarathustra uh, was their god. Uh, I mean, I can read a lot of the history out of there, but get a sense of their religion, uh, like they were really into cleanliness. They were really into like hand washing and stuff long before anyone else did it. You know, there's a uh, uh, if I had known that we were going to talk about this, I would have actually dug up my notes on it, and because I have really extensive.
No, that's fine. We can talk about them some other time. What do you know about the thing that's on your hat?
Jill and Milton actually back
No,
in
no, no,
1989.
no. The Knights Templar.
Back in 1989, I worked with Knights Templar. They still exist. They didn't go away. There were three groups of Christian knights: Knights Hospital, Knights Capitoline, and the Knights Templar. The only one that remains is the Knights Templar. There's a lot of mythology about them, but I actually met some real ones back in 1989.
Well, what are they?
Well, Sigilla Militum Ex Pisti means basically to fight for God, fight for Jesus, fight for the church. Well, that's kind of generalization. Uh, their principal quest is to stop evil, put some head on with Muslims in Africa.
Is it bad guys?
What now?
The Muslims, they're bad guys. Is bad guy.
I've actually read the Quran in Arabic as well as
Yeah,
English.
see, what? It's a book of hate, just
If you
like the
want to,
Torah. The
if you
No, it's the Torah. They're all
start,
books of hate. God would hate them.
well, going back to the Quran, if you want to understand the Quran, this is for anybody that wants to understand it.
I don't.
There's a really good book out there called The Quran Interpreted by a guy named Arbery. Um, and it goes through and converts the passages of the Quran in English to the poetic that they were originally. I've uh, read the Quran in English. Three surahs. Surahs are well verses or chapters. They're individual. The surah is an individual section of the Quran. So Surah 21 could be 10 sentences or it could be 5 pages. Okay. Um, the three you want to look, at is the Surah of the Rock, Surah of the Moon, and the Surah of the Cow. Because those three are the underpinnings for the concepts of jihad, concepts, well, basically all the negative crap. And uh, in the Surah of the Rock cries out, "There's a Jew behind me, quick, come kill him." And then there's a tree cries out, "There's a Christian behind me, quick, come kill it." You know, it's to understand Islam, you've got to understand that Muhammad was really dissatisfied with their religion at the time, the pre-Islamic paganism, basically a much older version of the Babylonian religion. Crescent moon is Ishtar, moon goddess. Um, the
Pick me, pick me, prick me.
what now?
Okay, listen, 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 listen. In the Old Testament, they mention that. Listen, I don't know where, but it was like cut off the moon from their camels' necks. Cut off, like get rid of all their stuff. And one of them was the crescent moon symbolisms on their camels' necks.
Joshua. There's
Yeah,
also
I don't know where it is, but it does say that. And
right.
from what I understand, Islam is a bastardized version of that crescent moon worshiping shit. It started
Well,
from that.
you're right. I was getting there. So
Sorry.
yeah, I wanted you to
I
have
know
something.
things.
No, you do. The point is that Muhammad's understanding of Christianity was really, really weird Christian cult that wandered around the desert, kind of in parallel to Muslim wandering tribes. And so he got some really, really skewed, really twisted ideas about what Christianity was. And he combined that with basically the age Babylonian, which is why you got such weird stuff coming out of it.
Can I say something though?
Sure.
The Christians in charge back in the day, they really did think they were being like Jesus, but they were talking shit to the wrong people. The early Christians in charge, the early church, they were assholes, but they were assholes to the wrong people. And the people should have been assholes to them. But everybody has taken Christianity and fucking dumbed it down for the people. And then the people in charge are stupid about it, but they're in charge and they can make up shit. And I'm reading this fucking book right now, and I've read it one other time before, and it is nothing like they say.
What book are you reading?
The Old Testament.
Well,
I
first
read
of all,
I read the story of Jesus. That's the only thing I've read of the New Testament. And reading it, you can see how the Christians have made it stupid. Because Jesus is nothing like these people.
Want to get the story of Jesus without all the other stuff, get a copy of the Jefferson Bible. Thomas Jefferson gets this thing of he was a deist. Now he hated organized religion. He attended church while he was president. He attended church almost every Sunday.
So
Presidency.
did Jesus.
He didn't attend church. He didn't. Well, he did participate in synagogue, which is a different thing. But Jefferson's objection to religion, organized religion, was that in Europe, the religious institutions were so unbelievably corrupt. The Lutherans in Germany, after Martin Luther, Cardinal Richelieu in France, and the Catholics, when 1776 occurred, when all that started, they were not even 100 years away from the 30 Years' War, which was basically four different sects of Christianity, most notably Cardinal Richelieu in the Catholic Church versus Swedish Lutheran, and they decimated Europe, all professing a belief in the same thing.
Right.
That's how.
They did nothing but talk shit. All that fighting was over talking shit.
Well, I think that both of them genuinely believed some of the things they believed. But in the case of Richelieu was unbelievably corrupt. And Richelieu was the guy that was like, I didn't like what this guy said. Go have him whacked. I mean, literally.
Exactly. Yep. That's how the Crusades started, you know. The two leaders of the two different churches, the Muslims were betting they could get Catholics, and the Catholics were betting they could get Muslims. And they got tired of doing that shit, and then they went to war.
Oh, there were 4 crusades. Everyone's like, oh, the Christians had crusades. It was terrible. Yeah, they don't mention the 290 attacks by the Muslims in Europe.
Vlad the Impaler. He was trying to
The Impaler
stop
was
that shit. He was trying to
actually
stop that shit. Everybody calls him a bad guy. But, I mean, he did it fucked up. But he was trying to stop that shit from coming. He's like, Muslims gotta go. Xi Jinping calls him a fucking cancer.
he's right.
I
But Vlad sent Cossacks after Muslims that were invading parts of Russia, like Romania, Ukraine, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan.
He was trying to stop that shit.
Right. And
I don't think he was a bad guy. I think he was maybe a bit fucked up.
No, Vlad the Impaler was not a dude to cross. He's kind of like Putin, you know. You might find radioactive food in your lunch, you know, and die a really ugly death.
I'm not saying he was a good guy. I'm just saying he wasn't wrong.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't wrong.
Uh,
I'm sorry. I'm doing that to you again. I apologize.
No biggie, no biggie. If you want an example of how you can stop Muslims from doing crap, and I believe it was a famous general, and I believe it was Blackjack Pershing in Indonesia or the Philippines at the Spanish-American War, 1898, 1900-ish, thereabouts. The Muslims, it was the Philippines, and the Muslims attacked them. And and the American forces captured all the Muslims. They slaughtered a bunch of pigs, dumped the pig entrails in a pit, wiped all their blades and bullets with pig fat. Of the 50 guys that they had there, 50 Muslims, they shot 49 of them and left them in the pit with the pig entrails, then shot the knees and elbows. The last guy coated him in bacon grease and says, "You go tell them what we're prepared to do to your ass." Because you see, if a Muslim dies contaminated by pork, no paradise. If a Muslim is killed by a woman, no paradise. I advised a while back in the early 90s, I advised a friend of mine that worked for the spare wall, aka the Pentagon, said, "You want to put the fear of God into Muslims, you get an all-woman special forces strike team and you have them whack every Muslim because there's no paradise for them." You got to understand the whole thing. You got to understand their mentality. Anyway, I'm sorry. I waxed off of where we were going.
It's okay. We were talking about Christians talking shit. And did I ever tell you my theory on the salt and why I read the Bible the way I do?
Are you referring to the pillar of salt, or are you talking about the salt of the earth?
I'm talking about Jesus' salt.
I'm not familiar with what you're saying here.
The Sermon on the Mount. Jesus' salt.
Or the salt of the earth. Yeah, okay, that's what I was
Yeah,
asking you.
Jesus' salt. Okay, did I ever tell you?
I don't think you did, but
Okay, well, I'll tell you. And I believe this is what Christians get fucked up. Okay? Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth. If you have no flavor, or if salt has no flavor, it's useless." Okay? Who lights a lamp and hides it under a bushel? Right? And it continues like that.
I
And
know, I
if
know.
if you are the salt, you're supposed to have flavor. If you are supposed to be a light, don't hide yourself, right? So
But you're saying
don't be fake, right? Be who you are, but be noticeable, do good things, you know?
that's part of it, is part of it.
Right.
It was just
Like, and
was
you have the light, and the light outshines the darkness. So if you're you in a dark place, but being you, the light, right, in a dark place, you are gonna be noticed by people, right? And then people start doing what you're doing, but and you're still being yourself. You're not being pretend. You're not acting like everything is good like Christians do. Christians are not themselves. They are somebody
first
else.
first of all, let me interject something. One of the things that always gets me is if someone says all blacks are X or all women are X or all anybody, any group, whatever you name it, is X or does X or is believes this or whatever. It's simply not true.
I'm
It
just
is
using
proven.
colloquial, like Christians that I know.
But I'm about precision. I want to be exact when I speak. And basically, most of what you're saying is true. It's kind of an oversimplification. Um,
But if you can
think here.
explain it to a 6-year-old, it's probably true. That's how you can tell a smart person. If they can take a complex issue and explain it to a 6-year-old.
Well, as I've said for decades, since the 70s, there is nothing you cannot understand so long as it's explained clearly enough. If I explain nuclear physics to you clearly enough, you can understand it.
I
Uh,
kind of almost do.
well, in any event, too much of the dialogue that goes on nowadays is buzzwords and sound bites. It's not an actual explanation. It's just words that are sound cool or whatever. You know what I mean? Anyway, back to the salt of the earth. Uh, the sermon you're talking about, salt of the earth, was be who you were and do it so boldly that no one could mistake it. Okay.
Be
Now,
yourself.
the thing about it is one of my biggest concerns guarding Christianity and Bible translation since the Vulgate, the Catholic Vulgate, uh, is that the language of Aramaic, Hebrew, and Greek
Oh, I can't.
have words in them we only have one word for. So, for example, the word love, English is one word, love. I love the car. I love my house. I love that girl. I'd love to hook up with her. They're all one word, right? Sorry, did I offend you? Had your head down. Okay, just all right.
No, I was being
Anyway,
illegal.
but there are 11 words, different words for love in the Greek, six of which are in the Bible. Okay, I'll just go with the six in the Bible. Right? There is Helios, which is brotherly love. Okay, completely different. Storge, which is familial love, i.e., mother loves children, father loves children, children love parents. It's storge, completely different word. There is eros. We know the word erotic. Eros is that kind of love. There is Thanatos, which only appears once in the Bible that I've ever found. Thanatos is a love of death and destruction. Completely different word from all the others. Uh, there's agape, and I'm whiffing on the last one. Uh, anyway, the point is there are things, words in the Bible, and if you could look at two chapters of the Bible, I would guarantee you there are 20 to 50 words in there that we only have one word for. But they have 20 or 5 or whatever. And each one has a more precise meaning than our single word. So if you get
I got a challenge for you, please.
all right,
Can you find the word love? Listen, there's one person that Jesus loves in the Bible,
Lazarus.
And it's Lazarus. You are the only other person I've ever heard say that. Everybody says it's John. But when I read the New Testament, it clearly, to me, you can infer that's absolutely Lazarus. And then when
Uh,
everybody's asking him, what about that guy? He's talking about Lazarus.
but let
And
me finish.
Jesus is like, he can be alive for however long I say.
In Acts, there is a quote. They went to the apostle Jesus loved. It was one of 12 people, and that was John. John was also one of the people Jesus loved. But Jesus wept over Lazarus.
And when Mary came to him, she said, Jesus, the one you love, is dead.
But like I said, in Acts, they refer to the apostle Jesus loved.
Right, right. But
Just,
when they're talking about when Judas, when they're Jesus, like somebody's gonna betray me, and somebody is on his chest, that is Lazarus.
well, that's not complete. It was either John or Lazarus.
It was
Depend.
Lazarus.
No, because the one Jesus loved could have been Lazarus or the apostle Jesus loved.
Yeah, no. But when
Or
Mary
could
came to him, John was not dead.
no, no, I understand, but the past there's a period of time between the death of and resurrection of Lazarus and the Last Supper, where the individual Jesus loved was lying on him. So it could have been either one. You have to know the time frame. You have to know the context.
Okay, okay. That time frame, Lazarus was with Jesus. The thing with John had not happened yet. So that
Follows act.
happens.
Well,
Right.
no, no.
But that happens right
Last Supper.
when Lazarus just gets resurrected as the Passover. So I inferred that the one on Jesus' chest was definitely Lazarus. But if you want to, we can, I don't know, we can go into it. Do you have your Bible?
I've got four right over here. So
I
you might
mean,
have gathered I've
I
actually read
don't
it.
know. I don't know where the story is. I would not even begin to know how to find it. So, I mean, we don't really even have to because I don't
Bible
know
server.
where it is.
Bible server.
Oh, now you're gonna do the I'm super Christian. I know where it is. You're a terrible Christian, Nikki. You don't know shit.
No, I'm not doing that.
Oh,
Oh,
look, everybody else would. My mom would. Oh my God. She would
no,
turn
no, no.
right to it and be like, here you go.
Well, I could probably pull it out of my head if you gave me a few, but I'm getting old and senile. Um, at BibleServer.com allows you to select different versions of the Bible, King James or what have you. You can look up a keyword like tattoo. There's actually a passage in the Bible that speaks about tattoos. It's in Leviticus. Um, my point is, uh, if you type in on Bible server on Jesus' chest or on Jesus' breast, it'll take you right to the passage you want. So you can actually find things you're thinking about, but you don't know exactly.
Do you see this giant ass fucking baby?
Ornery cat.
Do you see her?
Right now, you got your arm over her, but I can see her. I see the little shit.
Yeah. She she thinks she's an infant.
Well, yeah, yeah, I've got one of those too.
I love you, baby. He's a good baby. I love the baby. Thank you. I love the baby. He's a good baby.
That's not. That's nice. That's later.
I love the baby. He's a good baby.
Give me a moment here. I'll find it for you.
Oh, well, I mean, that's okay. I'm just happy you can't go right to it. Like you're a terrible
Oh,
creep.
I should know the passage you're talking about.
Well, I
Like I said, I'm
mean,
getting.
we could like read the context of when she's like, Jesus, the one you love. We can start from where Mary and Martha go.
Oh, see, like I said, I'm getting
It
old and
just
senile. I actually used to know.
look at you, smile as a good baby. Can you can't even see her smiling. She's smiling so big, she's a good
Oh,
baby.
I got a fat old 17-year-old cat. Somewhere around midnight or 3 in the morning will crawl up and lay on my right shoulder. Always my right shoulder. I don't know why. And then roll over and purr in my ear and wake me up.
She, like, I got four cats, and she will only lay between Dustin's legs. And when he rolls over, she just rolls over with him. She'll trap herself in the blanket and just lay with him right between his legs. It don't matter. The baby cat, she does patrols. She'll walk up and down the bed and cry, and then go lay on Dustin's chest. Captain, she'll
Destin's
just,
your
huh?
Dustin is your husband, boyfriend?
Yeah, he's my husband.
I couldn't remember your status, and I didn't want to.
No,
Yeah,
we got married outside in front of God. Well, actually, in the living room in front of God, and my stuffed animals.
Matthew 26:17.
Okay, I can't exactly go there.
No, 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 no. Ah, clunk. Right. Moment here.
You know what's fucked up is it doesn't matter if anything else is in your way, you'll move it. But if a cat goes in your lap, it's like I don't want to disturb it. I just I don't want to move because of the cat. Are other people like that?
I'm sorry. Are other people like what?
Like they'll move whatever else is in their way, but when a cat comes and lays on them, they don't want to disturb it. It's like
Oh
they
yeah.
won't move because the cat.
All right, cat. I gotta get up. I gotta go to the bathroom. Come on, move, move. But otherwise, yeah.
Like right now, my butt's so uncomfortable, but it's like, okay, she didn't move.
It, that will help. But don't bump. Don't see them putting
Come
up.
on. No, it's okay. I didn't mean to. Don't growl at me. Okay, do you want me to read it out loud so we have context? What is it, Matthew?
Matthew 26. Uh, Matthew 26. Whole passage is 26 and 20. I think goes to 31.
Okay, let me get there. Okay, Matthew 26.
Well, the entire passage of the betrayal of Judas, etc., is Matthew 26.
Okay, little kitty, I'm sorry.
Okay, take your time.
No, I'm talking to the cat. Okay, Matthew 26.
Because this is the passage where Jesus goes and prays, and the disciples fall asleep, and he gets cranky.
No, no, no. The one where they're like,
That whole passage is all about the beginning of the Last Supper, preparing for the Last Supper.
no,
Judas' hands and washing.
no,
It's the whole passage,
no,
and it contains.
Where Martha and Mary go to Jesus and talk about Lazarus.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I'm sorry. I was looking somewhere else. Hang on. Uh, Give me a moment here.
And I know about Jesus dying. That was the saddest fucking thing I've ever read in my life. Like I'm
Well,
telling you, the story of Jesus, oh my God, it's fucking great. And then it ends so terribly. Oh my God.
John 11:2 was Mary and talking to him about that. It starts with her washing her feet, washing his feet with her tears and anointing him with oil. But it's John 11. John 11:5. Jesus loved Martha, her sister Mary, and Lazarus.
Okay, John 10,
11.
11. Okay, here we go. Okay, a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother
And her
Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters went to him, saying, Behold,
man you love.
the
I know.
man you love is sick. Now, what love word in the original language did they use? Like,
Agape.
what's the word and then what does it mean?
Agape, and it's sacrificial love. It means you love him enough to die for him.
Okay.
That was the one I forgot, by the way, which is ridiculous because anyway.
No, no, you said agape, but you didn't say what it meant.
All right. Okay. Agape is sacrificial love. It means that you're willing to die for somebody, that you're willing to go really far for somebody. That's what agape. They call it love or spiritual love, but it's sacrificial love. It means I love you and I'm willing to die for you. See, you go back to the bit with I've talked with you about this before. Hang on a moment here. About
Hey,
Peter's
hey,
denial.
be careful talking. Like, listen, we didn't, the recording didn't work. So, I mean, that
Recording
kind
what?
of doesn't count.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
I said the recording didn't work, so that don't really count.
Oh, in any event, the point, where Peter's like, I don't know him, and then the rooster crows.
Yeah, I still don't think Peter's in heaven.
Well, but the thing is, he was the foundation of the church because that's why Jesus called him Peter. Peter means rock, bedrock, basically. But in Peter's denial, when Jesus says, "Peter, do you love me?" He does that three times. He does that three times to counteract all three of Peter's denials. Peter says, "Yes, Lord, I love you. Yes, Lord, I love you."
Yeah, but what word did they use?
Well, that's what you have to look up. I
That,
actually know that. I want you to learn it.
no, well, it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
Okay. I need you. Okay. I want you to learn and I want you to understand. So, when Jesus says, Peter, do you love me? Every time Jesus says, Peter, do you agape love me? Are you willing to die for me? Okay.
No,
All three times.
coward.
But Peter's response, let's put it this way. I want you, I'll look up a resource for you where you can actually look this up, okay?
That'll work.
Is is Peter's response, yes, Lord, I filios you. I love you like a brother. Then is it, I storge you. I love you like my father. The last one is definitely I agape. I love you enough to die for you.
Except for he doesn't.
But you gotta know what those first two are. Now you see what I mean about how people read the Bible and it's like love this, love that, love the other, love, 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 love. It's all one word, but it has a completely different meaning. Did you understand what I'm saying?
No, I know exactly what you mean, and Peter's still a coward and he didn't die for Jesus.
Actually, he was martyred for Jesus.
Uh, But Jesus said everyone was going to anyway. Jesus
You strike the
said,
shepherd, the scatter.
I do,
So,
well,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
he knew we were weak. Jesus knew we would do this. He knew it before the world was born. Hang on a moment. Ugh.
Well, everybody, welcome to our show. I hope you're having a great time enjoying this discussion of random theological things. Here pretty soon, I'm going to, we're going to go to the beginning of Earth, the beginning of humans, and the actual first people of the Bible who seem like they could be right. So Give us 1 second. Okay. We are recording. We're at 50 minutes. 50. Okay. So what are we looking up now?
I'll find it for you. John 19:26.
Okay.
When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby.
Right. Lazarus.
Now, Lazarus was not a disciple.
Yes, he was. Well, kinda.
No. There are 12 people that were called disciples, and Lazarus was not among them. Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, Simon, Peter,
Hold on. 26 what or 19 what?
26.
How much?
John.
Oh, John. I was in Acts.
No. Acts is.
Okay. John 26.
I believe so.
Hold on. St. John.
That's the one.
Okay. What chapter what?
Moment here. John 19:26. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing near.
John 19:26. He saw his mother.
When Jesus
and the
is being,
disciple standing by, whom he.
this is when Jesus is being led away, and he basically orders John to take care of his mom.
Oh, he does. Okay.
See, John was a different person than Lazarus. Jesus loved, at least in this context, two people.
Right. Okay.
John.
Yeah, but he talked to Peter the most, though. And he never says anything to John.
Oh, he says a lot of things to John, but you have to read it in the context. He turned to another disciple and said, "Oh," when he turns from Peter or Mark or whoever and talks to the other disciple, that other disciple is most usually John, because John was always by his right arm.
John and James, the sons of thunder.
John and there are two James.
Yeah, but there's one James that is John's brother, and they're called the sons of thunder. But in the beginning of Acts, one of them dies. Isn't it James? It's John's brother that dies.
Right, there are two James. James, brother of Jesus, and James, son of thunder. Two different men.
Yeah, but see,
James was martyred. They killed James.
right, so only John's left. Because Jesus' family did not travel with these people. As a matter of fact, during the Temple on the Mount, they said, "Your mother and brothers are here." He's like, "I don't know these guys. This is my mother and brothers."
Well,
The funny thing is, listen, the funny thing is the other mother Jesus is talking about is a lady named Mary. And all of the people, all of the dudes that traveled with Jesus All were named after his brothers, except for Simon. He changed Simon's name to Peter. But all the dudes that surrounded Jesus were all the same name as his brothers and his mother. And then when his brothers and mothers showed up, he's like, I don't know these guys.
Well, first of all, Jesus did not have a brother named Luke.
Luke is not a disciple, though.
He is.
No, he was a writer for one of the Roman guys.
Luke was one of the 12.
No, I don't know. No, he wasn't. Luke was written by somebody else. It was written
Oh,
by a a reporter who went around and talked to everybody and just wrote the book and named it Luke.
no, no, no.
Well, I mean, it's fine with me. I don't really care. I don't know. I don't know any of it. And I don't want to study the Bible. I just want to read it. So I've noticed here in the Bible that I have my issues with the New Testament. I don't want to read it. It's not Jesus. But with the Old Testament is the one I like the most and have the most problems with because
Right.
it's written at the same time frame, but it tells two different things. And Moses' stepdad has five different, or Moses' father in law has five different names. And they
That's true.
say Moses is based on another character, but it's why
Had six,
can't they do it at the same time?
Moses had 6 different. He was called a different name by every member of his family. So I'm going to send you this.
But I'm talking Moses' father in law. He starts as Reuel, and then his name changed to Jethro. And now it's something that starts with an N. And then it changes to something that at the end of the story. No,
Okay, okay.
it's when the chick nails the guy's head. That was Moses' father-in-law's wife, but it wasn't his name.
Let me finish.
Sorry, I
There.
do that. Hold on, let me
Okay.
shut off.
All right. The ancient in the Old Testament, people using nicknames and pet names for each other is what really confuses people a lot. Um, uh, Moses had 6 different names. His sister Miriam called him one thing. Aaron called him another thing. His mom called him another thing. Like, you know, hi boo boo, how are you? Or hey Kev. The guy's name's Kevin. Hey Kev. Completely different name. Looks different in our text. They used nicknames and pet names because full naming at that time was power over somebody. And so you hear them talking about Luke the physician, right? In the New Testament, Luke the physician, or Simon Peter, the rock. They used a lot of nicknames and implications and things like that. And so people tend to get confused very easily by who is this schmo they're talking about? Well, that's actually Aaron. And um, what's the one I'm thinking of? Ah, crap. They're talking about Moses. I'm whiffing on the name, but the name we use, and this is in Exodus. Uh, Nun. Nun. You talk about Moses talking to Nun, N-U-N. Well, Nun is a nickname. It's not a real name. It
That's
means
Joshua's
fish.
dad.
Can't hear you. Muted. Still muted. There
Nun
you go.
is Joshua's dad.
No, there were several nuns in there, but actually, you're probably right. Nun was probably Joshua's dad. I'm not
Yeah, hold on.
popular today.
Hello?
I don't get that many calls in a week.
Yeah, coffee would be good.
Ornery cat.
All right, I love you. Do you need coffee? That was
You
the
need.
phone call. Do you need coffee?
No, I don't drink coffee. I don't drink caffeine after like 10.
I can drink coffee until like 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, Nun was Joshua's dad.
Right, and he was a contemporary of Noah, and Joshua took over after Noah, or Moses, rather. Sorry, Moses.
Yeah,
Nun is a nickname.
Joshua is my gladiator.
Well, yeah, he is.
He's my
Uh,
Russell
hey,
Crowe. I love that guy.
but Moses' name means from the water or born by the water.
I
Okay?
come from the
And Nun was the fish from the water. That's the pun. Okay. So in that case, you have Nun, and we don't really know his real name. You know, his nickname. It's like, well, Pookie came by today, and Pookie's real name is Bill, but we don't know that. You see what I
That's
mean?
what my mom calls me, Pookie.
Oh, wow. I have to remember that. Now I have to call you Pookie every time I talk to you.
Oh my God, she does. Hey, good day, Pookie Butt. I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking 30.
Yeah, when you're with your parents, you're always like 6 or 12. Give me, in my case, it was 57, and my dad's like, "Hey, R Dub." My nickname was RW, which were my first two initials, and my dad called me R Dub for a good 5.5 decades.
My mom, her nickname is Wally Wallopin. I
Oh,
don't
whoa,
even know
what?
what that is, but when she calls me Pookie, I call her Wally Wallopin. I don't know what a
Interesting.
Wallopin is, but oh yeah, I told you I was folding the laundry.
It's
All
funny.
right. So, what about these Knights Templar thing? Or is that too long of a conversation?
All right.
We're already at about like almost an hour, just at an hour. Does your brain hurt?
Oh, it hurts all the time, but
But I just realized I don't even know how to shut off my other thing. So my camera probably did get all of my phone calls.
yeah, well,
But that's okay. It's entertainment, I suppose.
I suppose. Well, I didn't hear him because I left the room with the two of those
No,
calls.
no, no, no. They didn't get the first cover, but probably the one with Dustin. Do you need some coffee?
I don't drink
I always need
counter.
coffee. I I told you I can drink coffee until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep
Uh,
unless I drink coffee.
that's rebound. That's the same thing they use for people that are hyperactive. They give them caffeine and it slows them down because the brain counterreacts to it.
Yeah.
Might be a result of head injury.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I definitely got a bunch of head injuries.
Probably most of them looking at me.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I got them like 6 years ago because my future me knew I would meet you. So I just went ahead and gave myself some.
No, I just figured just looking at me would cause trauma.
No, nobody could. Look, nobody gives a shit.
The waddles on my neck.
Have you seen my double chin? Listen, I look
You're
like I got a frog neck under here, no lie.
you're cute by comparison to me.
Nah. Well, nobody's comparing me to you unless they're deciding on what old man they want to fuck first.
No one wants to do that with me. It just doesn't happen. I don't know what world
Listen,
you're living in.
listen,
Smoke to
you have to go outside in order for, you gotta go places. Internet love is not a real thing.
Yeah, I didn't follow that at all, but okay.
Well, that's okay. It's not time for you to know what that means.
I just
Um,
I've been living. I've been home for
right,
yes, with
right. You're
I
at home. You gotta go
I
places. You gotta do things.
don't go anywhere.
Exactly. Just so you're not gonna find nobody. Internet love it's fake.
Oh,
It,
don't
internet
even get me
love
started.
is not real.
Oh, I have teeny boppers. You know, I'm 19. I love you, and I'm like, you don't know who the hell I
No,
am, kid.
no.
Like,
And for an older man to get with an older or younger woman, you got to understand, she is not fully grown yet. She's not going to be the woman you want. You're not in the same maturity level. So that shit will not last because your maturity levels are not the same.
want to hear a really funny story about that?
Yes.
I was hanging out at a bar just down the road from me, and there was a 19-year-old girl running around, and she was hitting on all of us old farts hanging out at the bar, swapping stories about the 1970s. She goes, "I really love older men. Can I go out with you?" And she said to me, and I said, "Well, dear, I don't have a car seat for you."
That is the funniest shit ever.
I was just like, I mean, and the guys who were sitting at the bar with me spewed beer, laughing their asses off. You know.
Yes.
Anyway, she's like, really, really, like, what? And I'm like, I don't have time for your daddy issues, dear.
It's not
Find
even
someone to
daddy. Look, it's not daddy issues. It's just
give.
really immature girls want really mature guys. And it's like the maturity
We're sitting
levels do not match
we
at
started,
all.
but 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 uh, but honestly, it's just. Oh, don't even get me. Oof.
Girls want to be controlled.
Well, they want a successful provider, savior kind of thing going.
Right.
Listen,
They
that's
wanna be controlled. But also you gotta think. The guy's got to make it worth it. If the guy's not making it worth it, the girl is not going to stay, or your life is going to be miserable forever because you're not treating her the way she should be treated. So she's not
Uh,
treating you the way you want to be treated. But young ass girls, they want to be treated a certain way, but they want to act a certain way. They don't understand that they're not making it worth it for the man, because it's also got to be worth it for him. But if she's not making it worth it, he's not going to stay. If he's not making it worth it, she's not going to stay. It's
I mean, I had that conversation years ago with her 20 year. I was going to bottom, you know, take a look at your aunt and your mother. That's what you're going to look like in 30 years, you know?
that's exactly what I look like. Only I look.
You were too young for me to even consider talking to about dating. I stop at 45, and that's the bottom end of the envelope. You're way too young.
You're way too
I mean, we.
skinny.
What'd you say?
You're way too skinny.
Oh yeah, probably. My point being is there is. Uh, you were born in what, 82?
85.
85. I couldn't remember exactly what you
I'm a
said.
Scorpio too.
Oh my! But my point being is, even though we are Scorpios and we probably have a lot of the same temperament, like wanting to strangle the shit out of stupid people. Uh,
I break out in handcuffs.
oh well. Anyway, point is I was in college when you were born. You know, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff I have. You know. Anyway, my point being, uh, these like 20, 19-year olds. I'm like, I want someone born in the same century I was born in. You know, I
Yeah.
I just there's a bunch of that I just don't understand. You know. Anyway,
And
moving.
19-year-old
And
girls are not as fun as they seem.
well, I know guys that'll go for him every time, and I'm like, you're asking for trouble, dude. It's gonna be trouble. You know.
Yep.
I remember when I was in high school, one of my teachers' husbands was a pharmacist in town. This was like 77 or 78. And we got to school, and there was this kind of like a funeral level of, you know how you get that atmosphere of everyone's like funeral, or you know what I mean?
Super depressed.
Depressed,
The room is depressed. Yeah. I'm an empath by nature. And when people feel a certain way, I feel a certain way. It's really bad.
anyway, that English teacher wasn't in that entire week. And the reason was her husband, the pharmacist, ran off with a 17-year-old pharmacy girl,
What the fuck?
cleaned out their accounts, and blew off to Florida, where the FBI found him, dragged him off, and, statutory this, statutory that, contributing, just the whole 9 yards.
Over
And I'm
state
like,
lines.
oh, no, yeah, that I can't remember that law where if you transport across state lines, it's a
Oh,
major felony.
yeah, no, that's really bad.
Anyway, the whole thing is this dude is not getting out. Well, this happened in the 70s. This dude is still not out. Okay.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was really bad. And he knocked the 17-year-old up. And I'm just like,
that's so bad. So no
even in
wonder that
high school,
room was super depressed.
I was just like, man, how many people died today? It was like, and she was a real mess for a good couple months after that. And I don't blame her because I had 3 kids, and he just like, boom, blew off. And I'm like, in high school, you know, guys
So
don't guys don't think with their top head in high school, and I'm thinking part of this is going to work out for anybody. You
yeah,
know,
no, it's all bad.
boy, that is going to be really bad. But anyway,
We're
I
at
just is
an
like,
hour and 15 minutes.
we need to quit.
Yeah, and Dustin's about to be home. So,
Okay,
and
well,
I gotta
well,
finish folding this laundry.
okay, well, it was good talking with you, dear. Good to see you out and about
Yes,
and all.
you too. So, Saturday afternoon, my son wants to learn all about Odin. He wants to know about Odin. Do you know anything about the god called Odin?
I know a good bit of Norse mythology. I actually, for a while, wore the hammer as a religious symbol. This is back in the 2004-ish. Actually, do know some of that.
Okay, because I'm also gonna try to have the guy that does the Odin thing on also to talk to my son. We call him Kelso online.
You
So we're
probably
gonna,
know.
yeah, I would like people to talk to Ethan and teach him about the god called Odin.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything planned. I could probably be here. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you. I totally appreciate it.
no problem, kid. You're worth it.
Okay. So I'm going to press stop. So enter tell do you have a YouTube channel?
No,
Okay.
I've
So,
had multiple people tell me I should do like instructional videos. I've just been too lazy to do it.
well, you can use my show to do that. That's fine.
What do
You
you want to learn?
I don't know, you can teach all kinds of things. But we are almost at an hour and a half. So, we're going to cut it off here. So, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. I learned a lot in this ADD conversation. So, thank you for coming.
Have a good one, kid.